Alright, now we're moving on to the new Super Mario Bros. Wii power-ups, starting with the Propeller Mushroom. You get a silly-looking propeller outfit, and when you shake the remote, you fly into the air and slowly hover down. It can also be used to clear away certain cloud particle effects and reveal stuff within them.
Was anyone else particularly impressed with this?
I mean, it's a very basic flying power-up ability. It's like, it's a Nerf Super Leaf.
Propeller Cap is just kind of a weird power-up altogether, but then again, this is a weird Mario power-up system all around. But with the Propeller Cap, it has its purpose now and then, just flying up in the air and slowly descend. And that's pretty much it all I could talk about, so B tier for me.
It always felt like really juvenile compared to a lot of the other power-ups that were available. And I mean, I'm not at all like being like, oh, it's so juvenile because it's Mario. I mean, family friendly is the name of the game. But it just, I don't know. It didn't feel very creative or colorful or flashy or anything like a lot of the power-ups do. It just felt like, oh, here's a propeller hat. I've got a beanie now. Whee!
I feel like it was designed to simplify the act of flying for those younger players.
But just as far as power-ups are concerned, there's so many power-ups that do basically the same thing, but are better, more fun, and look cooler. This is going bottom of C.
See, I don't think I would be quite that hard on it. It serves its purpose effectively enough, and I think it deserves at least a B. Like I said, it's very accessible for like the younger players. There we go. Next up, we have the Ice Flower. This one operates very similar to the Fire Flower, except you're shooting ice. You use it to freeze enemies, and you can use them as platforms to get to higher places. Or you can pick them up and throw them at other enemies, a la Mario 2. It's a pretty neat ability, although it doesn't feel quite as useful as the fireballs, because fireballs just keep bouncing, and this one will break after one bounce. Still, I think this would fit nicely in the A tier.
I had like a very annoyance whenever I get the Ice Flower in the tower stages. They always keep giving you that particular power-up when the Propeller Cap would have been a lot more useful there. But nope, you just get the Ice Flower. But the even more annoying is that the only enemies you face there are Dry Bones, which is the only weapon that could defeat them, but it takes a while to defeat them because you have to freeze them first, pick them up, throw them away, and continue that onslaught until you reach the top. This is a C tier for me.
It does have its uses, and I do appreciate the fact that frozen enemies can be used in order to assist with platforming challenges. It definitely does come up way more than it should. I fully agree with Madole on there. It seems like almost every power-up you get is going to be an Ice Flower or something else like a Propeller Cap. But the Ice Flower seemed more common than the Fire Flower did, at least whenever, from what I remember anyway.
I feel like that was probably done for game balance, though.
I do think that tower that he was talking about, I didn't personally have as much trouble with it, but I can see where the frustration would come in, because yeah, he's right. You do have to freeze them, then pick them up, then throw them. There's also the fact that frozen enemies, unlike the Fire Flower, don't actually get taken out. It just removes them from current play for a little while. Usually just long enough for you to jump over them or jump on them and use them as a platform. It's still okay though. I'd put it in B. It has its purposes, and like I said, I like how it's used for platforming puzzles.
Okay, so that balances out to a B. And next up we have the Penguin Suit. This has all of the abilities of the Ice Flower, but you also have better control on icy surfaces, and you can slide on your belly to go really fast and through bricks.
You can also swim underwater like the Frog Suit a lot better.
Oh yeah, you do swim faster underwater. I think I would probably also put this in A tier.
It kind of upsets me with the Penguin Suit though, because in the very opening cutscene up there, Toad launches two cannons of presents in there, and one of them was like the propeller shroom, and then the other one's the Penguin Suit. But for some reason, like they overused the Ice Flower that's like the penguin suit kind of becomes like underrated. It's kind of like one of those rare power-ups back in Mario Brothers 3. And also, they only appear in like 2 worlds, like Worlds Beach and World Snow. Either way, penguin suit is just alright, just kind of like a low B for me.
You know, the way that Madole brought that out, that probably is exactly what they did by design, was, hey, this is just like a rare suit version of this other one. It has all the benefits of the ice flower, but a little bit of extra. So because of that, I do agree it shouldn't go any lower than the ice flower, but at the same time, yeah, there's like 1, maybe 2 areas I can think of where you use the belly slide that you have to use it. I didn't even know that it improved your swimming ability, so there's that. And, I don't know, ice traction just generally wasn't an issue. So I guess I'll just slap it in B because it's effectively just an ice flower to me by another name.
Alright, the consensus is B. Okay, now for Galaxy 2's power-ups. First up, we have the Cloud Flower. You collect this, and then you get the ability to generate 3 cloud platforms when you use the spin attack. You can renew this by collecting another flower somewhere in the level. And unlike most of the other Galaxy power-ups, you keep this one until you get hit. It's a pretty fun ability. I think I'd put this one in B.
So the Cloud Flower is fun to use now and then, but what makes it really fun is doing a long jump, and then when you're near the end of the jump, just activate a cloud, and then do it again for the second one, and then do it again, and then, hey, you're already at the end of that section of the level, and you could just use the launch tower to get out.
I did forget to mention one thing, is that your platforming when you run and jump is a little slower, so you have a little more precision when you jump from platforms.
So I would say this is a high B for me.
It's definitely up there with like the carrot in the sense that it's all about maneuverability, 0 offensive potential, but did have its moments, and I do distinctly remember enjoying some of the levels that incorporated it. So I'd give it like mid B, even though it's kind of like meh on the overall spectrum of power-ups. I would say that I'd at least rate it above average because it was fun to use.
All right, stick that thing right in B tier. Next up, we have the Boulder Shroom.
It's a strange power-up altogether. Mario stands around the spot. When you shake the remote, he turns into Boulder, and he automatically goes forward and hit anything that's in front of him. It's a short power-up, but it's uses for breaking down certain walls or any barriers. Heck, even maybe bowling pins.
I was about to say, I distinctly remember the levels that use this incorporated in oftentimes a bowling type situation.
Appropriate.
The fact that it's only used for like just breaking down walls and stuff will go high C for me.
It's kind of limited in its uses, probably for the best because it would be probably pretty broken elsewhere. I'll stick this one in B.
It's a little unwieldy too, from what I remember. So I'd probably say high C. I didn't dislike it, but I do feel like I remember it being a bit wonky to use correctly.
Alright, sounds like the C tiers have it, so there we go, right there at the top. Okay, moving on to Super Mario 3D Land power-ups, we have the Super Leaf, again.
Why does he have that expression? What did you do?
So this does everything that the Super Leaf does in Mario 3, except without the flying ability. So you can hit enemies, and you can float slowly to the ground, and that's about it.
Hey, you're wearing the wrong suit, Mario. Where's the ears and tail? You're wearing the Tanuki suit back in Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, does anyone else find it weird that they split the Tanuki suit into the Super Leaf, and then they made the Tanuki suit a new power-up, the Stone Leaf?
It's a little bit weird at first. You don't think about it until you get the other power-up altogether, since you haven't seen the Super Leaf throughout since Mario Brothers 3. But with these little downgrades of not being able to build up speed to fly in a 3D space, kinda drops it down to A tier.
You know what saves this, though? For me, Luigi turns into a Kitsune instead of a Tanuki. It honestly almost makes me wish that they did a little bit more cosmetically with the brothers rather than just swap red to green, call it a day. But I personally, I really liked seeing whenever I got the Super Leaf with Luigi, I was like, that's not a Tanuki! That's not a Tanuki at all! Which I guess is probably why it's not the Tanuki suit anymore. So, with that said, Luigi, S tier.
I like that they brought back this power-up from Mario 3, but I can't help but bring this down to A rank because of what was taken from us, namely the flying. I get why it's not in there, but still. Alright, into the A tier it goes, right above the rabbit ears.
Yeah!
Next up, we have the Boomerang Flower. This lets you become a boomerang brother of your own, and you can throw boomerangs at your enemies. Sort of like something like the Fire Flower. It serves essentially the same purpose.
Although technically not the Hammer Bro suit, the Boomerang Bro suit is still one of my favorites. I like how far the boomerang shoots out, and if you walk past it, it'll just always try to get back to you at a couple of tries. So you kind of have like a good shield, but not a whole good shield. But all in all, I still say it's a good suit altogether, so S tier.
I do think it's pretty fun when you can throw a boomerang at several enemies in a row and take them all out at once. And also, if there's an enemy right behind you, you can throw the boomerang in front of you, jump over it, and then it hits it from behind. So there's some trick shots involved here and there.
So the boomerang suit is basically the Hammer Brothers suit's younger brother that isn't quite as cool. It gets points for being blue because I'm being petty, but it's no Hammer Brothers suit, that's for sure. It is pretty fun to like throw it and have it hold position, have some enemies drop down, and then release it so it comes back and takes them out. And again, with being able to jump over it and have it constantly go back and forth around you, some fun little shenanigans, not particularly useful, but still fun things to do. I'd probably give this one a B. It's not something I would pick over a lot of the other flower options.
I don't know, I personally rather like this one. I would put this one in A rank, like just below the Fire Flower. It's a fun item to use and sometimes just as useful as a Fire Flower.
So that averages the A.
And now we have one of those I'm bad kind of power-ups. We have the White Tanuki Leaf. This makes you completely invincible.
I'm sorry, what is this? I don't remember seeing this, ever, at all.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't, because you have to die 8 times in a level for it to appear.
In other words, a get good power-up.
Right. You collect this, you become completely invincible, plus you have all the abilities of the Super Leaf, the one in this game. The only way you can die is if you fall in a pit.
Ugh.
Not one of my favorite power-ups, so immediately D.
Since this is one of those get good items, I'm saying D tier.
This, without question, bottom of D. I did not like this pattern that Nintendo took around this time period of, oh, I'm sorry, you're having a bit of trouble with little Pat here, let me make you some hot cocoa. I'll take care of the level for you. Come on, just, it's okay, it's okay. Just drink your hot cocoa. You're fine. Let Uncle Nintendo take care of you by coddling you and holding your hand. Get good! Back in my day, we didn't have this namby-pamby nonsense. You get good or you fail until you get good. But yeah. I put on the whole, arrogant, back in my day thing, but honestly, I really don't like it when games do this kind of thing and hold the player's hand, because it doesn't help the player improve in any real capacity. It's even worse on the ones that outright skip the levels for you, because why'd you buy the game if you just end up skipping everything?
D tier. Just set it to D tier.
Bottom of D tier.
It's in the D tier.
We could pretty much just go ahead and probably say that every item like this is going D tier.
Alright, next up we have the Stone Leaf. This one has all of the same abilities, once again, of the Super Leaf in this game, but now you can also turn into a statue, which itself has the same abilities as in Mario 3. Enemies walk past you, you can not be hurt by fire, etc., etc. So yeah, I think this one also goes in A rank, somewhere above the Super Leaf.
Yeah, the scarf look good on it, so it's a little bit higher than the regular A tier Tanuki suit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Tanuki suit plus one extra thing. It's just put it one space above the normal Tanuki suit. That's
yeah, they
really
do this a lot.
Yeah, it's really all there is to it. It's just this power-up, but more. It's like the penguin suit for the ice flower. Like, do they really need to be two different power-ups?
Or even the Super Leaf and the Tanuki suit from Mario 3.
Okay, but the difference there was that one just gives you ears and a tail, the other one gives you a full suit.
Well, here you get a scarf.
Is a scarf equivalent to a whole luxurious suit?
Alright, there we go. Okay, we're moving on to New Super Mario Bros. 2 stuff, starting with the Gold Flower. This has the same functionality of a Fire Flower, except every surface that it hits turns things into coins, like bricks, enemies, and what have you. You can see how a power-up like this would be particularly helpful. Since the whole game is themed around collecting coins, you can only use it in one level, and then it turns you into Fire Mario when you exit the level, so that's worth keeping in mind. As far as how I feel about it ranking, I guess I like it, but not as much as I like the Fire Flower, so I'll still stick it in A rank, though.
The Gold Flower is a little bit of a hit or miss for me. Like, I like the idea of Mario turning gold. I do like how everything turns to coins, but something about just like turning it back to Fire Mario, it just feels like a Starman for Mario altogether, but he doesn't get hit. Well, basically a Starman for Fire Mario.
Similar to the Mega Mushroom, there are opportunities to get a Gold Flower in your item slot, and you can take it with you into any level.
Yeah, so probably a high B tier for me.
I mean, let's be real here and say it exactly as it is. The Gold Flower is to the Fire Flower in the same way that the Stone Leaf is to the Tanuki Leaf, or the Penguin Suit is to the Ice Flower. So, I mean, personally, I'm of two minds about this. On the one hand, it's like the entire gimmick of the game that it comes from, so I see why it's there. On the other hand, I feel like they should have done a little bit more with it. Like, okay, everything you hit, turns into coins. Fair enough. But then let's make it a drawback. Gold is extremely heavy. So, like, it should have had effects like the metal cap. Make it slow you down or something like that. Yeah, you get to turn everything into coins, but give you some sort of debuff to go with it. Because as it is, it's basically just, it might as well be a Starman. Everything gets turned into coins. Everything gets wiped out.
Another thing that makes it easier to do that is the splash that is caused when the gold ball, or whatever it is you shoot, hits a surface. It hits everything within like a 3-block radius.
It just, I don't know, man. I would put this in B tier. Despite it being basically a straight upgrade to the Fire Flower, I actually did not like it nearly as much.
2 B's and an A.
Okay, then I guess we're sticking it down in B. Okay, and looks like we have another one of those power-ups.
D tier, get it out of here.
Yeah,
Not even
we're not
gonna
gonna
talk about
that,
it.
are we?
There's nothing
Let's
else
just-
to say about it.
Yep, let's just go straight to the Super Acorn.
From New Super Mario Bros. U.
Another one of these power-ups, because we don't have enough.
So, you jump into the air and you can slowly glide to the ground while constantly pushing forward, and then when you shake the remote, you fly upwards for a bit and then slowly descend to the ground.
Just like the cape, and the raccoon suit, and the bunny ears, and the wing cap, and the bee. Why do we need so many of these? I like the suit. I like the idea. Why do we need new suits for these? Why can't we just keep, giving power-ups to the other suits? Why can't we just add on to those? Why do we need entirely new suits that fulfill almost the exact same function? This is literally just a straight upgrade to the rabbit suit. It has the slow drop, pretty much just as good as the rabbit, but there's a swoop at the end.
I had some issues with this power-up, though. I could never get it down just right. It only took me a little while I had to move forward just to keep gliding down. But I never got a good chance to utilize it altogether, so C tier for me.
I'm also inclined to put it in a C tier. I don't know what it is. I just don't enjoy using this particular one as I did other ones in the past.
I'd honestly put it in D tier.
Oh yeah, there's another function that I should probably note, is that you can cling to the wall and hang on to it for a few seconds, and then jump off and start floating again.
Or just wall jump.
Okay, so 2 C's and a D, so we stick it in the C tier. Okay, and now we have the P Acorn. So very similar to the P-Wing that we're already familiar with. This one just lets you stay in the air as long as you want, as long as you keep shaking the remote.
That could be like a little bit of an arm sword hit. That's possible. But since it has like the same power-ups, but it's lower than where the Acorn power-up is at for the C tier for me.
I mean, I'd say it probably matches the C tier because that's where the P-Wing is. Honestly, I could probably put it in D tier because it's another one of those basically skip the level for you type power-ups. So
it's not completely busted though, like the white Tanuki and the white Super Leaf.
I mean, you're not, if you actually use it properly, you're not going to get hit. But ultimately it's at your discretion because the P-Wing is in C, the straight up level skips are in D. I guess it would average out to a high D or a low C. I leave that to you.
I'm personally leaning low C.
Well, there you go. Put it underneath P-Wing.
There we go. All right, looks like we're coming into the home stretch here. Moving on to Super Mario 3D World's power-ups, we have the Super Bell, which lets you become Cat Mario, and you get a number of abilities here, like slashing enemies and climbing walls.
You could also pounce on enemies if you crawl around, like, and then move around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the cat suit is actually a really good power-up altogether. Like, I always try to get this power-up just to climb on walls, do the pouncing and stuff like that. It just feels so good to be a cat. Especially you could cheat at the end with the goalposts and just climb up to the top.
That's what I was going to say. Not to mention you can climb up the goalposts.
Yeah. So a solid S tier for me.
I'm kind of inclined to agree, even though I think climbing the flagpole at the end kind of trivializes the whole challenge of trying to get to the top, because they usually have some sort of a setup that they want you to try and do, like bouncing off of an enemy or something, but with the cat suit, you don't even need to think about it.
You're right.
Still, it is a really fun power-up to use, and I would also go with S tier.
You're right. It does trivialize it, but also, if you've ever had a cat, you know that, yeah, cats climb everything. I've seen my cat literally climb straight up the curtains, just like the flagpole. It's very natural, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do with the cat suit. It's got a wide variety of extra little hidden quirks that it has, and it's just generally pretty fun. I think it actually makes you a little bit faster, but that might just be because you're running on all fours. You're like leaned forward more than you normally would be, so it could be an optical illusion. Either way, great power-up, really cool new addition. Slap that in S tier.
Okie dokie.
It's a really good power-up.
Yeah.
So next up we have the Double Cherry. You collect this and there's a second version of you that appears. Collect another one and a third one appears. And a fourth one. And a fifth one. But no more after that.
Fun fact about this power-up. This was made actually by an accident when the developers mistakenly put two Marios on the screen and it'd be like, oh, hey, make that a power-up. The Double Cherry is kind of a fun power-up altogether. If you can utilize a whole army of your same characters, it gets really ridiculous and fun at the same time. So it's gonna be in like A tier for me.
It gets a bit chaotic having several versions of yourself on the screen at once, especially if they somehow get spread out. And that can make it a little difficult to keep them all on screen at once. I would personally put this somewhere in B.
It's even worse when it's multiplayer and you have multiple versions of multiple people trying to coordinate.
Good thing they limited the number of cherries that you can get in a level so it doesn't get too crazy.
But honestly, I think that's part of the charm. I actually really like this power-up. I'd put this in A. I think it's good, chaotic fun. It's a little tricky to use correctly, but honestly, I think a power-up should have some quirks and drawbacks to it.
All right, sounds like the A's have it. Next up, we have the Lucky Bell. And we have another one of those, it's the same power-up, but one more thing is added. This one gives you the ability to turn into a cat statue, and then when you fall from the ground, you collect coins on the way down.
Specifically, you turn into a Lucky Neko.
So since it's like basically the same power-up as the cat suit, it's gonna go under the S tier, just above the cat suit for me.
I mean, yeah, it's just the cat suit plus.
Yeah, pretty much the same deal as what we did with the Super Leaf and the Tanuki suit, which are right next to each other, also in S tier. Funny how this all works out, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost
Yeah.
like if you just copy-paste the power-up and add one new feature, it's basically the exact same power-up, just with one new feature.
Alright, then let's move on to the Mario Maker power-ups, starting with the Mystery Mushroom. Depending on what you build your level with and equip this mushroom with, you can turn Mario into another character entirely from another franchise. But functionally, it has all the same abilities as a Super Mushroom. You can jump and break bricks. The only thing you don't have is a bigger hitbox. So I can see how that's useful, but functionally it's exactly like a Super Mushroom, so I'm probably going to put this in B tier.
So it's basically the same thing, like kind of like a little Super Mushroom power-up, but the only other thing you could do is that if you press up on the control stick, you could do like a little taunt, which is kind of cute all around, so probably B tier for it, just for the creativity part.
And that's the thing with the Mystery Mushroom is that it's purely cosmetic.
What's wrong with you guys? The opportunities that are presented with this thing is fantastic. You can use basically every amiibo from the Smash Brothers series, and I'm pretty sure a handful more, like from Splatoon, and I think that, like, all of them change the character that you can play as. There's a lot of crossover potential, which a lot of people utilize. Honestly, the only thing that I don't like about this mushroom is that they didn't bring it back for Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, that is a good point of it. So,
but honestly,
yeah.
I would have considered this an S rank, like, immediately, just because of how, like, quirky and fun it allowed people to be with their levels. You could make, some people would make, Sonic levels from the Genesis games and use the Sonic Mushroom. This was kind of like the Link suit before the Link suit. It just, I don't know. I thought it was a really great cosmetic, yes, but still ultimately clever feature that allowed a little bit more homages to be made to just gaming in general.
I actually might jump it up to A rank just to be on the safe side.
Fair enough, and that's going to balance this out to A rank. Okay, next up we have the Big Mushroom. This basically increases your size to a 2x2 instead of a 1x2, and you are able to break through blocks similar to the Mega Mushroom, but not quite as broken. It's almost like a nerfed Mega Mushroom in many ways.
Well, you still look like Tiny Mario in a way, so that might be the reason.
In Mario Maker, you can often create a lot of interesting ideas where you have to limit the amount of jumps you can do because you can also break certain floors when you land on them.
Interesting enough, this Big Mushroom power-up has like two different variants of it. So if you had like the Warp Pipe Pixel Mario, the classic style from Super Mario Bros. 2, it will look more like the classic orange and red outfit.
Yeah, it looks like he's and the effect on the screen is like that of a CRT TV. I always thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but if you had like the other Pixel Amiibo Mario, the mushroom would be like red and white instead of being the average orange and red back in Super Mario Brothers. And
yeah, he's got his modern colors.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's just modern versus classic.
But all in all, the power-up is kind of interesting in a way. But not only that when the TV screen turns to CRT, but every single enemy kind of have like a little Mario mustache or something unique about it too. So the uniqueness out of it, I'm going to go with A tier for it.
I agree, A tier for me as well.
I played some levels that were designed based around this that were actually really interesting and made you really think about how you placed and spaced your jumps. This was surprisingly a lot more than it initially appeared to me whenever I saw how people were utilizing it. So this is definitely an A-tier item. It kind of expands the scope of platforming and specifically how you platform. So anything that makes things a little bit more engaging is a plus for me.
Okay, a consensus on the A ranks. Alright, next up we have the Lanky Mushroom. Mario collects this, becomes extra skinny, and similar to the Super Mushroom, can take one hit. The main difference here is that you can jump extra high with it, like maybe about double the height, and it also comes with a weird new jumping sound. I didn't really know how to feel about this one, because the thing is, this can also just replace outright a Super Mushroom in a level that's supposed to have it.
I found this power-up kind of creepy in a way. Like
it's Slender Mario.
With its gaming mechanics all around, kind of looks kind of creepy altogether. So, all in all, I think I would say this would go for the B tier for me.
It is a very weird power-up, and I'm also going to go with B tier because it's not too much different from a super mushroom. Sure, the extra jumping is useful, but only just.
I mean, this is just one of those things that, to me, it's Japanese humor. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's just like ha, surprise, you thought, but here we go, something different, put a spin on it. It's just a cute little joke. It's no different than, for example, the radio show version of Super Mario Brothers changing the Goombas to the head of the DJ guy. It's just, Japan does stuff like this all the time. So, that's all there is to it. B tier. It's a super mushroom, just with a little bit of an extra spin on it.
Okay, but are we putting it above or below the super mushroom?
I would say above it since it has that better jumping ability.
Yeah, I guess so.
It will always be Slender Mario to me.
Alright, now for the Mario Maker 2 items, we have the Super Hammer. This lets you become Builder Mario, and you get to use a hammer to break bricks, and you can also generate crates that you can throw and jump off of. It's a pretty fun ability. I rather like using it in the game. I wouldn't choose this over something like Fireballs or a Boomerang suit, so I would still put this in A rank, though.
Just because you have a hammer doesn't make you a hammer brother. You'll never replace it. But it is pretty good.
I'd say it's a fun and creative way of playing through the levels. Like, you could, with the generating of the blocks, it could actually create little paths on lava, so you could just walk across that. The hammer is also good just to break those little stone blocks to open up a new path. So it feels like you're building the level or destructing it while completing it at the same time.
How can there be wood crates in lava anyway?
I don't know, but it works. In any case, I would just put it in A rank too.
I mean, there's not really a whole lot else to say. It's a good power-up. I like it. Being able to smack stuff with a hammer is pretty funny. The ability to generate blocks and place them to assist with platforming is also a nice touch, and opens up a lot of possibilities for level design as a puzzle element. So, yeah, A tier sounds pretty good.
Alright, into the A tier it goes. Very good. Alright, so next up we have the Master Sword. And this is essentially what I was hoping that the amiibo costumes would be, but you collect this and you become Link, and you get an arsenal of new abilities, including a shield, a bow and arrow, a sword, bombs. You're basically Link in a Mario level. It's super fun.
This one was actually a surprise power-up for me. It changes the entire gameplay of Mario Maker 2 to like a whole new level. You could actually be a lot more creative, create better puzzles with Link's abilities, and defeat enemies all around with its arsenal. This is a solid S tier for me.
Easiest S ever.
It's definitely an S rank. I mean, just the sheer amount of new possibilities it opens up alone justifies that. If I mentioned earlier that something that makes things a little bit more interesting is a plus, then this has like 5 pluses just built into it. So, easy S tier.
Yeah, not only that, but I'm going to do something really bold here. It goes at the top of S.
Now, I don't know about that. This is a Mario power-up tier list. Mario transforming it into an entirely different character seems kind of broken.
Okay, maybe the top of S is a little too generous, so we'll put him right here.
That's right, you go where you belong, Link. This isn't your list. Get your own. It's not Link 10th, Link's Day. You don't even have a month that matches your name. What do you even do?
Okay. Next up we have the other P-Balloon. This one operates very differently from how it does in Super Mario World. You hold the A button and you can just float around in the air in any direction that you're facing. So yeah, this one gives you a lot more control in the air than the other P-Balloon does, and it doesn't wear off until you get hit.
Now, why couldn't the other P-Balloon from Mario World be like this one? This is like basically the cooler older cousin to the original Mario P-Balloon. So, with that being said, C tier.
Oh, it's not much better, is it?
No,
Personally, I'm
not
going
really.
to put this thing in B tier.
Honestly, if this was what the P-Balloon was like originally, then it definitely would not have gone into the bottom of the barrel. This gets an A tier for me for one reason. The Mario Kart tracks that are made in Mario Maker with it. Those make me so happy. I don't know why. It makes me smile, and they're so goofy, and I love them.
It's a really good power-up for racing, I do agree. Okay, so an A, B, and a C balances out to a B. Okay, that's good. All right, now we have the one new power-up from Bowser's Fury, and that is the Giga Bell. You collect this, you become a giant lion, I guess. Oh, Mario, it's basically just the cat suit again, but now you're basically Mega Mario size. You can't get hit in this state, and you'll just go back to Super Mario and then Small Mario, but you're still Giga-sized. This is basically just a required power-up to fight Fury Bowser during the occasional moments in the game. It's fine for what it is, I guess, but I'm not going to go higher than B with it.
I do wish they utilize it more instead of just being in an open area during the fight. Like, I kind of want to see more of the cat abilities, like climbing up walls and stuff to chase after him a couple of times, but no, it's just a one-on-one all-out battle with Fury Bowser, so it drops down to A tier.
I mean, what's a lion but just a bigger cat?
Pretty much.
It's not really too much to say about it. It is what it is. As far as I can recall, didn't get any new abilities or anything like that. It just... bigger cat suit.
You can't even break anything with your bigger size, so, like, what's the point?
So it definitely loses points for the cat suit. It doesn't really bring anything new to the table. It's just you need to have this in order to be able to do anything against the bad guy. So there you go. I'd say that drops it down to... honestly, I'd drop it down to a B because it was kind of disappointing. It didn't bring anything new to the table for all the flashiness that it received, you know?
And I guess as far as what it brings to the table, you could walk in that black muck and it won't hurt you. Yeah, I'm kind of reaching here. So B tier it is, since we have two Bs and an A. Okay, and so we're down to the final three power-ups. These three coming from the latest release, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Here we have the elephant fruit. So Mario collects one of these and becomes an elephant. His hitbox becomes a bit bigger. So he can hit several more blocks at once. He can break bricks with his trunk, can store water in his trunk, and then spray it on flowers or on enemies. And yeah, he can also break Yoshi's back when he jumps on him.
Poor Yoshi. What did he deserve to deal with this pain?
I mean, this is what happens whenever you declare your allegiance to someone who throws you off a cliff so they can jump a little higher.
It's a pretty neat idea for a new power-up, I think. I'll stick this one in A tier.
Again, with the whole thing about what I was saying about with the Boo Shroom being able to transform into something, we don't get that power-up that often, and seeing Mario turning into an elephant, and it just feels a bit wacky all around. I like wacky power-ups. It gives me a little bit of a little charm saying that this is our game, enjoy it as it is. I would put this under like high A tier on the fact that it's new and creative.
Yeah,
which is largely how I feel about Mario Wonder as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much exactly what I think about it. It's a fun, new, quirky mechanic. It adds a few new design elements to how you approach it. Not only does it give you just, generally extra girth and everything like that, but it allows you to use some things like storing water for puzzles. I mean, Mario Wonder as a whole was a breath of fresh air. It felt very lackadaisical, very embracing of games just being a fun way to pass time. It's definitely a solid power-up. I wouldn't say that it gets an S rank on its own merit, but it gets an S rank for what it represents in taking a more whimsical approach to Mario.
Okay, so A rank it is. Next up, the Bubble Flower. So, similar to the Ice Flower or the Fire Flower, you generate bubbles, and when you do, you can encase an enemy and defeat them that way, or you can just bounce on the bubble to get yourself some extra height. There's a lot of speedrunning potential with this power-up, and it's kind of fun to use. And I think the color scheme kind of works.
With the Bubble Flower, it kind of feels like Mario finally mastered the bubbles altogether, because back in the Wii, if you ever press the A button, you get stuck into a bubble or get rescued by a bubble altogether.
Oh
So-
my god, I never made that connection.
So seeing me able to actually control the bubble, it's actually kind of a unique twist for it to work for Mario. So I would say this would be a good B tier item.
I don't know. I'm personally going to put this in A tier myself because I do like what it adds to the game. Like I said, you can use this to make some of the more difficult platforming a little easier.
I would say an A tier. I think it's fun because, like you say, it does open up a lot of opportunities for creative ways to approach a problem that's presented to you, and it definitely, if you're able to use it correctly, is able to dramatically speed up the way you can approach certain tasks and obstacles. But this is one of those power-ups that if you can't use it particularly, like, creatively, it falls on its face. But like I said, for my personal vote, I would say A, but I can also see how this could potentially be considered a weaker power-up as well. But to that, I just say get good.
Into the A tier it goes then, because 2 A's and a B. Alright, and the final power-up we're going to be looking at is the Drill Shroom. When you collect this, you can drill into the ground and emerge in a different spot. This can help you get into some hidden areas that other players can't get to. You can also drill through some of the breakable blocks that you find throughout the game. You can also drill into the ceiling and travel through that way as well. It's got its fun moments, just not one of my go-tos. I'd put it in B tier.
Honestly, I see this power-up, and all I think of is drill!
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it just makes me think of Sonic Colors.
I would say B tier for the drill power up.
Yeah, B tier is probably fine. It has its uses. It does what it's supposed to do. It's easy to use. It doesn't, overstay its welcome. It's just kind of middle of the road.
So, into the B it goes. And with that is our completed list.
Before we enter, we should want to bring up the honorable mention power up, which is the Super Crown back in Super Mario Bros. U.
Oh yeah, that wasn't
Deluxe.
anywhere in here.
Yeah. All about it just turns Toadette into Peachette, and it gives her the little flutter ability for Peach as Peach and stuff.
Yeah, the Super Crown is basically just an easier way to play the game, I guess. It's fine
meme
for what it
bait.
is.
Yeah.
I guess if we were going to give this power-up a ranking, I would probably put it in C.
Yeah, probably around C, I guess.
C, D, meh.
And one other power-up that didn't make this list that I feel like is worth mention is the SMB2 Mushroom from Mario Maker 2, which gives you all of the abilities of Super Mario Bros. 2, where you can pick up enemies, you can dig up cloud blocks, stuff like that. It's a fun idea, but really would have worked better in its own game style, I think.
Yeah, it also only works in Mario Maker 2. It's like exclusive to that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just Super Mario Bros. 2.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'd say that for what it's worth, though, it does open up a lot of possibilities. So I'd say it at least gets a B rank.
That's where I'm going to put it as well.
Same here.
I would like to see this fully realized as its own game style, and somehow I suspect that was the original plan. But since Mario Maker 2 didn't sell as well, this is all we got.
Really? That's a shame. They better still come out with a Mario Maker 3. If they pull that stunt where they're like, oh, it didn't sell as well, kill the franchise, I'll be sad. You know something I did notice, though? It does appear that a lot of our mushrooms ended up in B tier, some in C tier, but a lot of them ended up in B tier, and everything non-mushroom tended to end up in the higher tiers. Okay, maybe not everything non-mushroom, because the Starmen are down there, but still.
Well, I thought this was a pretty fun list to put together, and everything looks pretty fair. What do y'all think?
I think
it all looks all right for me. Y'all agree on one thing, and it all evened out altogether.
All right, but with that, thank you very much for joining me, Madole and Squeaky, and thank you for watching. Have yourselves a happy Mario Day, and I'll see you next time.
thank you so much for watching my vid.